Hi there, Wally here. In this video, I'm gonna pass through one bash script that is totally operational, and we will understand how we can use those scripts just to improve our skill set. Talking about bash script. I hope you enjoyed. Let's start the video. This is top contrib organization script that I created a few months ago just to collect some information, do some parses and this kind of stuff. So let's take a look at the description of this script. Basically, we can execute it. If I'm not passing anything as a parameter, then this is gonna say, hey, let's stop. You need to pass organization, for example, calling the script and then passing one organization. Or you can also pass -f and you can pass a file. And in this file, you can pass or you can set multiple organizations if you like to collect information from all of them. Let's suppose that I just pass something that is not valid, HTTPS SSS, and then this script is gonna do some checks, some tests, and hey, this is not organization, so let me exit right now. However, when passing the organization, we can see things like this. The organization is here, this is the organization name, the foreman, this is the organization ID. This is some information coming from GitHub. And then I'm just doing some checks. And then we can see the number of pages. We can check the first repository. The first one is foreman. And then we can clone that information and so forth, so on. Basically, what is going on here is we are passing through that organization. We are downloading all the repositories from that organization. And we are collecting some information from each of them. And at the end of the process, you can see a single file under tmp full report.csv. If you take a look on the file.txt, and this is the one that I was passing here in this example, basically this is telling us that you can set some different organizations. So what will happen is this script will get the first organization, will pass through all the repositories on that organization, and then we'll jump to the next one and next one and next one. And we'll do this for all the organizations that we have in this file. And then this is the call. We can call the script -f and then the file.txt or the file name that you prefer, okay? One attention point here. If you add a pound before that line, then this will be skipped. So basically this script is also handling this kind of configuration, and then anything in this file is starting by pound or #, this will be discarded as well. At the end of the process, we can see this file and the output will be something like this. We have the organization, the project, the pull requests, and the author. So basically the organization is the foreman, the project or the repository is foreman. We can see the number of pull requests for this author. Ohad Levi has 1,519. And after that, we have Tomer Brisker with 525 entries. And then Marek Hulan, 409, and that's it. Basically, this is the main idea. But if you're not familiar with organization on GitHub, let me show you how this works. Here you can see one single repository, okay? This is my account. Once we click on my account, I can see that I have multiple repositories. And then that one is top contrib organization. This is one single repository. When you're talking about organization, it is something like this. There is the foreman organization. This is for foreman project. Feel free to jump in and know. If you do not know this one yet, you can see the website over here. And you can see also the repositories tab. So once we click over there, we can see different repositories. So those repositories are part of this big project. We have the foreman as the main repository, and we have multiple projects or multiple repositories underneath this organization. You can see that the total number here is 223. And I would like to collect information from each of them, okay? If we jump to Catello, same idea. Catello is the organization. Catello is one plugin that we have that works with foreman. And same idea. You can see repository, and that's it. We have different repositories, 40 repositories under Catelo. And wonder why do we need to pass through all of them? So I work on different repositories underneath each organization, and I would like to collect this information. There is one video that I created using Tableau, so I will keep here on the cards. You can take a look on how we can use this data basically. But the main point of this video is just to show you how to collect this information. So let's take a look on the code. This is the code. Let me bump a little bit the font size. If you're not familiar yet with some details, we have some videos here about bash script and function and the initial one. I'm gonna add this one here in the card as well. But I believe passing through all of this will be nice, and then we understand what's going on. So let's see some important points here. Those are variables. We are just setting the variables. So I have one dir variable is set in this specific path. I have also CSV output, and I'm forcing this specific output. This is a nice trick that I like to use when creating CSV, because CSV means by comma separated values, which means all the fields will be separated by comma. And then I'm just creating the header. So the header will be org, comma, project, comma, pull request, comma, author. So as you can see here, I have 4 columns at this moment. And then I'm just creating this file. If you see this file, this is the CSV output. I'm using the $sign before this, which means I'm doing a reference to this variable. And then at this moment, just in the beginning of this script, I'm creating this file with those entries. We have another variable here, just pointing to another file, different file. And then we have some functions. During the execution, this function will not be called automatically or in that specific moment. So someone else is gonna call this function, okay? So we can collapse. We have also some check params. This is another function. This is checking some parameters that we are passing through our script. And then we can see all of them here. So let's collapse this one as well. We have this one that is cleanup dir, so we are doing some cleanup. Again, let's collapse this one. We'll pass through all of them, we'll understand better what's going on, but just to be simple here. We have this function that is checking the organization, if that is a valid organization or not. You saw that I passed HTTPS and SSS and that failed because of this function. This function is doing some checks, and one of them said, hey, this is not a valid organization, so let's exit, like you can see here. And again, this is all bash script. Check repos. This is the one that will pass through all the repos, check, and will do a lot of stuff. And this is check repo info. Basically, this is the one that is gonna do a lot of git commands and will collect a lot of information. And this is pretty cool. This is the main one, I would say. So let's take a look on this now. We have some variables on the top, we have some functions, so they will not be executed when you call for the first time. And then we have this one. Now I'm calling the function. This is a calling for this function. And this is a calling for a second function. So we have this check params. Check params is this one, and I'm passing $1 and $2. So those are parameters that I got from my shell when I'm calling this. This could be the file name that I'm passing, -f and the file name, or this could be just the organization. The organization I'm trying to get some information. So let's take a look on this one first. Check requirements. I'm checking if there is git. So I need the git command. I'm doing a which git, and then I'm redirecting everything to dev null because I don't want to see the output. Okay? If $? Is different from 0, then yes, something is wrong. I don't have this package in my environment. And then I will print, hey, install something, install Git in this machine, and then this requirement, and then let me exit, and that's it. I will put exit, and this will stop the flow of my bash script. And then all the time you see that I'm cleaning up dir. I'm calling this function. And why is that? Because I'm cleaning some possible leftover. If you run previously this script and then some information is over there, I like to remove them. I like to be sure that everything is fresh. You know, there is no leftover, there is no additional information. So I'm calling this all the time. Cleaning dir, we can expand and we can check. If there is a folder, this I'm testing the directory, and then I have the variable. Where's this variable? Let's take a look. If there is this variable and this variable is pointing to this specific folder, so I would like to do some operations, and those operations will be let me remove all the files, and let me remove all the files starting by dot. And yes, Waldir, why is that? Why not only this one and I need this one as well? Because when I'm cloning some repositories came with hidden files starting by dot, and this can create some wrong information if you just keep that file over there. And because of that, I added those conditions, okay? Let me do one thing first here before we continue, because the main idea of this video is to show you how you can get one script that is working and then you can learn more. So you can open your terminal. This is the machine that I'll be using for this test. And then in general, you can copy this one, you can paste, and there you go. You have that output. But Waldiro, I'm not familiar with this, so feel free to remove and then get that command. Like, you can remove some parts or you can remove all of them, and you can come back and add in piece by piece, and then you see what's going on. So basically we are running which git, which is the command that is gonna looking for that binary. Waldiro, I have no idea what is which, how this works. Anytime you can type man and the command, and there you go. You have all the information with some examples as well. And check this out. We have here the same kind of test. So let's take a look on this. I executed this command, and now I will take a look on this. And the response is 0, which means I was able to find that file, that binary. Now let's suppose I'm looking for git1. There is no such file. If I run this one, now the response is 1. It's different from 0. Anything different from 0, the script will say, hey, if this guy is not equal from 0, then yeah, install git, because I was not able to find git. If git is not in your path, this is gonna fail as well. All right, let's move it on. So this script checked the requirements. Do you have git? Yes, let's suppose I have git, and then I was able to pass through this one. If I don't have git, neither this one will be executed, because I will exit just on this point, okay? So I have git, I'm cleaning up some information, I'm calling this function is over here, I'm not passing any parameter to this, just calling the function. This function is gonna test if the directory is over there. If the directory is present, then there you go. I'm gonna remove the contents, and also the content is starting by dot. And after that, once I finish this one, I will come back to this point. Once I finish this one, I'll come back to the point that I called this function, which was over here. So now we have the second one. So let me collapse this one and also this one. Now we are calling check params, which is this one. Let's expand this function. And we are passing $1 and $2. So basically $1 and $2 are parameters. Let's say that I have ls. ls is a command. I just execute that command and that's it. No parameters at all. If I do ls-l, now I'm passing the first parameter, which is -l. And then I can see a long format. If I pass -l-a, now I'm passing two parameters. -l is the first one, dash A is the second one. Eventually I can combine dash LA. In this case will be just a single parameter, just one parameter, and the result will be the same. But just for the sake of this understanding, here we can see like first parameter, second parameter, third, fourth, and this is the main idea. Returning to the code, we can see check params. The first one, let's suppose I just call my script like this. Top contributor. Let's get Catelo organization. So this is the path. I can just paste, and now check this out. I have the script, and my first parameter is just the organization. So let's come back and let's understand what will happen. I have $1 and $2 passing through check params or check param. If this is if statement, I believe I did not create yet a video showing the if statement or conditional tests. I'm gonna create this pretty soon. But basically what this one is doing is I have my first parameter. If my first parameter is equal to nothing, like I'm not passing any parameter, hey, you need to pass organization. For example, $0. $0 is a reference to the script itself. This is gonna print out the name of the script. And then HTTPS, something like this. You can also load, you can see here, this is just a helper for a customer or for the user because I'm just printing out the information. This is just an echo, you know. This is very useful because eventually you can show your customer or the person who are using your script how to use this properly, okay? So those kind of outputs are very useful. Basically you can call this script passing the organization, or you can call this script passing -f and then a path to the file. And then again, exiting and exit. Well, why did you create this exit here like this? But when I saw here was just exit. Like you can see this exit is empty. There is no return code or no return, just exit. This is gonna stop your script. This is also gonna stop your script, but this will return some code, some number. This is one way that you can check, like the return code was 1, 2, 3. You saw that I use here different from 0 because this is the return code of which Git. So if I find something, the response will be 0. If I do not find, will be 1. Eventually this can be some different code, 2, 3, 4. Based on the which code. So you can define, you can set in your script like this function is gonna return 1, another function is gonna return 2 or 3 or 4. You can set which code you like to return, and this will help you to create some exceptions, this kind of stuff. I added this one here just to share this idea, but in general we use exit, just exit, or if you like to create something more professional, definitely you can set some different numbers and then handle those different numbers. We'll talk about this in another video. I'm going to spend some time just doing some additional tests here. But for this one, this will be enough. Okay, so let me collapse check requirements one more time. And then returning to this point, this is going to just exit this guy because we are not passing anything. Okay, if $1 is empty, no reason to move it on. However, and then we say this using elif, if $1 is equal $f, this means I'm going to pass two parameters. I'm going to pass $f and also one text file, which contains all the organizations that I would like to pass through. So if I have $f, then I'm going to get my second parameter, and second parameter will be the file. And check this out. What I'm doing here is a for loop. So here we have the for loop, and basically what's happening is this has a variable b. This variable b will be each value of this iteration, and in the iteration between dollar and parentheses. What is dollar parentheses? This is execution. So anything between this dollar parentheses will be executed, and therefore we'll be working on output of that execution. So we are doing a cat on the second parameter. If we remember, -f is going to pass a file, and then we are catting that file. And look at that. Remember that we said before in the description, if you add something like a pound in the beginning of the line, that line will be discarded. It is because of this. So we have the grep-v. Well, I have no idea what is grep-v. So again, another opportunity to understand how this works. Let's suppose that I have here my file. This is the file in question. I have two organizations. I can do a cat on that file. That's it. Okay. If I just copy this one, so let's do a cat on that file, grep. In this case, I'm not getting anything filtered because I don't have that hash or that pound sign, but let's do this. I can put the hash here, with or without space, doesn't matter. And now you can see that I have just one line. This one is not present. So if we add a space here, the response will be the same because it doesn't matter. What I'm doing here is, this is regex, regular expression. I'm gonna create a video eventually on this channel just to explain about regular expression. Let me know in the comments if you are interested in regex or regular expression. This will let me know if you are interested in this kind of content as well. So basically, we are printing the content of this file, the output of this by pipe. I'm doing a grep. In general, we use grep to grab something, to find something. But otherwise, this, or what is this -v? I don't know. So anytime, guys, feel free to use man grep. You can looking for by -v, and then you can see invert match. So selected lines are those not matching any of the specified patterns. So basically what will happen is, if I'm looking for something, what I'm gonna print is the invert of that selection, okay? In this case, I'm looking for something that starts, this is a caret sign, something that starts with this character, and now let me invert. Let me print anything except this one. Basically, this is the main idea. Okay, then anything started by this sign will not be printed, and then we have this output. And then again, once I have this one, for example, in this case, how many lines do we have? We have one single line. So I'm gonna pass through a single repository. Now let me return this to the original state. Let's run one more time. Now I'm gonna pass through this organization first, and after that this organization. If I added like 100,000 organizations, this script is gonna pass through all of them. Yes, this is the main idea. This is the goal. So if you pass -f, then in a sequence we are gonna check the file, and that's it. We're gonna pass through all of them. And then there is one more statement here, one more test, else. So just to recap, if I pass nothing, my first parameter is empty, nothing to do, I'm gonna exit. If I pass -f, I know that I have to read that file that I'm passing as a second parameter, and then I have the test. If $1 is -f, okay, which one is the second parameter or the file name? $2, and then I'm doing this. If my approach is not this one, neither this one, like I'm not passing an empty parameter or -f, that means that I'm passing the organization. Then I have this else statement. And from here, I'm passing $1. So you can see that on this guy, I have check org for $b. In this case, $b is each organization that I have. And then in this case, if I'm passing a single organization, then this will be my $1. This will be my parameter to this function, okay? I'm pretty sure that this deserves your subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. So go on, you can stop this video now, hit the button, subscribe, and let me know what you're thinking on the comments. So now that we have the organization name, we can check this function, check org $1, because now I'm passing that specific organization as a parameter to this function. So if we take a look on check org, we have this guy over here. Check this out. We have check org and we are passing a parameter, $1. In this case, let's suppose that I call something like this. Top contributor, this. This will be my script, and this is the name of the organization. This is my $1, okay? Or this is the value of my $1, my first parameter. So we will end up at this point, check org $1. So I'm calling this function passing $1, which is this value. So when we landed on check org's function, this is another approach that I like to use. We can set one local variable because we are talking about function, and function has local variables. This will not mess it up with my external or global variables. So for instance, let's talk about dir. Dir is a global variable. Where am I using dir? I remember that we have in cleanup dir this one. So I don't have any dir inside this function. I'm using this variable. And why I'm able to use this variable underneath this function? Because this is a global variable. Okay, so the value of this variable will be visible anywhere, like global environment and also underneath this function. Okay, this is a global variable. When we are talking about a local variable like this org URL, this will be visible only inside this function. Eventually, I can do some additional stuff, but this is the main concept of local and global. Global will be visible everywhere, and local will be visible only inside this function. Okay? The scope is this function. So what I'm doing here is I'm calling this function, passing $1. We know the value of $1. This function is going to receive that parameter. And now I'm saying, hey, let's create this variable, org URL, and this variable will receive the content of $1, the first parameter to this function, okay? And then look at that. Now we have org ID. This is a local variable, another local variable. I'm receiving, do you remember this one? This means let me execute everything inside this one, and this variable is going to receive the output of that one. So Waldo, I have no idea what is this because this is very complex. This is a combination of a lot of stuff. Can we run this in the CLI? Definitely we can. If I execute this command right now, this is going to fail because I have no idea what is the value of org URL, at least not in this bash. So one way to confirm the bash variable content is like this is empty, okay? There are two ways that you can play here. One is you can set the variable value if you wish. So let's suppose this will be this one. We know this is the value, the expected value. And now if I do echo $variable name, I can see the value. So yes, at this moment, I should be able to run the curl here and see the information I'm looking for. If I like to skip this one, another behavior that you can do is just this. You can remove the variable and you can put the value. You know, this is the value, the expected value. So we can just run this and you should be able to get the same response, the same sort of information. Okay, amazing. But what is happening here? I have no idea. So let's take a look on this. We have here cut. Let me clean up the screen. We have cut. Like the pipe is the guy that will receive the information and will pass through the next command that you have. You can see that I have a cur command. This cur command is going to collect a lot of information. Then I'll get this one, I will pipe, I'll get that output, and I'll use as an input to another command. And this another command is grep. So I'm doing grep -o, I'm doing something here. This will create a new set of output. This set of output I'm passing through pipe, and now I'm passing to this one, cut. And then the output of this one I'm passing through to another command using cut. So one thing that you can do here, and I recommend you to do that, is you can remove the final piece and you can see what's going on. So okay, now we have organization, column, and a number. And what is that? So cut -d column and -f2. Well, there I'm not familiar with cut. How can I learn more? Cut. So you saw that I'm using -d. -d is the delimiter and -f is the field that you're looking for. So let's understand this better. I have this output, organization, column, and the number. When I pass cut -d column, this is my delimiter. And now I have the field 1, field 2. So I like to collect the information just for field 2. And then I have this output. And then I have just the number. Okay? So now that we know this, let's take a look on this. So I have organization and ID. If I remove the previous one, we know already -d is the delimiter. I'm using the delimiter double quotes. And why the backslash? The backslash is just to say, hey bash, do not expand this one. So let me looking for by the double quotes. And the field will be the first field. So if we remove this one as well, look at that. I was looking for this. This is the output. I'm passing through this guy. So I'm using the delimiter double quotes. This is the delimiter. So based on this delimiter, I have my field 1 and my second field. This is my second field. Okay? Because of that, when I pass cut -d / double quotes, I'm using this delimiter. -f1, I'm getting the first field, this one. Okay, amazing. Now that we understood, let's move it on. Let me clean up the screen to be not confused. We have this is the similar output as before, but let's take a look on this output. Man, this is massive. We have a lot of information here, a lot of output. We are looking for organization. So let's do this. Grep organization. I know that we have organization here, and probably organization here. Okay. The organization that I'm looking for is this one. So I know one thing that is specific for this one. If you take a look, organization column. So there is this organization, there is another organization, but here there is no column. Same here, no column. So I can do something like this. And then this should bring back the information only for this line. This is great. We are getting the information that we are looking for. This will be valid only for organizations. Because of that, when I pass like HTTPS column / S, there is no such information because that is a fake URL and will fail, okay? If you have your custom repository has no organization as well. So yeah, this will be present only on organizations. What we did was, let's get the command one more time, -O. Well, there, what is -O? Let's learn together. Man grep. If we're looking for by -O, only matching. Prints only the matching parts of the line. This is pretty useful. Sometimes, let me show you this. Let's suppose that I'm looking for only organization with column. And then there you go. We got the information, but Waldiro, I like to see more. I like to see this one, or eventually I like to see more information after that one. And then again, this is a regular expression. I'm looking for anything after that point. Again, guys, if you believe that regular expression is useful and an interesting topic for you, let me know in the comments and I'll be more than glad to prioritize this video and put to you, okay? And again, if you're not yet subscribed, you can stop the video, hit the subscribe button. I will be very glad and very happy and thankful. So moving on, now that we have the dot star, let's see what will happen. This is amazing because now we can see the information that is matching, like this one, plus all the information that we have after that. If we remove this information, now we have the whole set of information. So again, this is the way that you can do to understand all the commands that we're using in Bash script, how we are doing all those parses, and how we are getting the information that we are looking for. So now we have the organization ID. If the organization ID is empty, this is not an organization at all. So not an organization, exiting now. For example, if I would like to handle all the exits, I can put like exit 2, and in my code I can say if this application exited with the return code of 2, I know that this was because the organization was not found. If the exit was the number 1, the return code was 1, was that reason. And then you can create like a matrix. If I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different return codes, you can easily track which kind of problem you are facing that specific moment. But again, this is not important at this moment. I'm just exiting this script because this is not a valid organization. However, if org ID is different from this, because of that we have the else, organization found. And then we can see the organization ID. And now check this out. Org name will be the org URL. And again, I'm doing some additional stuff here. So, Waldiro, it is not clear to me yet. Can you show us? Definitely yes. One more time. I'm not sure if I have this variable already set in my terminal. If yes, I can play around. If not, I can change that variable, okay? Once we have this variable, that is great. I can just get rid of this and boom. What are we doing here? We have this full text. We are using cut. Now your masters at cut. You know -d is the delimiter. So I'm looking for by slash, forward slash. And why I'm using the double quotes, just to escape this to bash. So I would like not my shell to be interpreting this one. I would like this to be interpreted by the cut command as well. So I have this delimiter. And once we have this as a delimiter, let's take a look. This is the delimiter. We have here and we have here. So this is my first field. This is my second. Between them, there is nothing here, but this is my second. This is my third. This is my fourth. So the field here is fourth. And then there you go. I have Catello as the output. Amazing. Now we have the organization ID and we have the org name. Check this out. At the end of this check org, I have check repos and I'm passing the org name. So we know that the org name in this case is Catello. So we are calling this check repos, this function over here, just passing Catello at this moment. So let's take a look on this. One more time. Org name, we receive $1. $1 in this case was Catello. Then we have a print here, echo org here. This is the organization name, Catello. I have two more additional variables, stage and stage 1. They are empty at this moment. Anytime that you like to comment your script, you can use the hash or pound sign. This is very important because if someone else just get your code, they will be able to understand what we are trying to achieve, and this is very useful. And eventually you see things like this. Like this is the full command that you can try in your page, in your CLI, and this will bring back some information. And then what I tried to do here was just mimicking that command using this script, the shell, and adapting some variables. So let's take a look on this. This is the number of pages. And why is the number of pages important? So let me get this repository. This is the format. We have repositories. I would like to pass through one by one, okay? We can see the number here, 223. And then if we scroll down, there is pages. And then if I click on the second one, you can see the URL now is a bit different, which means if I put page 1, that was not there before, but I know that if I put page 1, you can see formal documentation here is the top one. If I change this to 2, I'm moving my offset, so I'm going to the second page, the next page. And then formal Puppet, and now Puppet DHCP. Let's suppose I jump to page 7. Check this out. There is no such repository on page 7. And why is that? Because I have up to page 6. So I have to find out one way to pass through all the pages. I know this is the way, but I need to know how many pages I have to pass through. Because of that, I'm getting the number of pages. So let's take a look. I have this one over here. Basically, it's the same as we can see below, but this is a command that I was using. So let's paste this one. And 6 pages. And this is matching. If we take a look, we have page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. There is no more than 6 pages. Dario, can we take a look on this one, specifically this command, because this is pretty long? Definitely we can. Let's see again. This is 6. If we remove the final piece, that is a sad command. Let's take a look. I have 6 and comma. And then what this sad is doing is I have a sad. I'm not familiar with sad. I know, you know, man command. You can put man sad and you can read the sad manual page. This is gonna give all the information that you need. But let's pass through this one. I have this S of substitution. So we are substituting, and then those are the delimiters. Like I have delimiter to say what I'm going to substitute, comma. For what? Nothing. You can see that I have 2 /. I'm not adding anything here inside. So I'm just going to remove that comma. And this is up to the end of the line, which means if I have more than 1 comma, I'm gonna remove all of them. If I don't do that, what happens is I'm gonna remove only the first comma. Eventually you need this, eventually not. Eventually you like to remove all of them. All right, this is great. Let's go to the next one. So we have this command, or let me clean up. Let me keep this. I believe this way will be better. There we go. Now we have this output. I'm grabbing by page count. We have page count, column 6. And then I'm using awk. Well, what is that? Awk is a brand new thing. Awk is a very, very powerful way to parse things. You can see this pattern direct scanning and processing language. There are a lot of features that we can do with awk. Again, this is pretty powerful. And if you like one video just talking about awk and different ways that you can play around, feel free to let me know in the comments. If you have some sort of questions, specific questions, or something that you try with awk and didn't work, let me know. Maybe I can use as an example in the video as well, okay? So if we take a look here, I'm using awk, single quotes. In this case, could be single or double quotes. And then I'm printing the second parameter. So by default, awk is going to use space as a parameter or a delimiter, but we can also change this with awk as well. So look at that. This is my output. And I can see one space over here. So this is my first parameter, and this is my second parameter. So what I'm doing here is, hey awk, print to me just the second parameter, and then we have 6 comma. Okay? That is great. Let's move it on. Let's remove this guy. On the top, you can see a lot of information in a very well output. This is a JSON output. Are you familiar with JSON or JSON format? If not, let me know. If you believe this is an interesting topic for video as well, I'll be more than glad to create one. And there are some ways that we can parse JSON, but basically let me check this one. We are looking for, in this output, this is the whole output that we have. We are looking for page count using grep. So we have this command, grep page count. Eventually, somewhere here, we have the page count. So let's take a look where. I'm gonna pipe less. Oh, look at that. On the top of this information, page count. So we are looking for that one, and there you go. We have this information. So we don't need to keep the whole file. We can just grab that information, and that's it. And finally, there is this one here. Oh dear, what is that? This is crazy. This is insane. We have a single line with all the information. Yes, this is the JSON format. We can see on this way. This is not very human way to see a JSON file. You can use Python just to parse that guy for you. So head-n5. When passing this to Python, you can see a Python. There is a module. I'm just invoking a module called json.to, and JSON will format or reformat this output and will put in a pretty way. Okay, in a fancy way that we can definitely read and understand more, or a little bit more, what are those fields and how they are nested, this kind of stuff. Again, one more command that will help you to parse the information once you are collecting this via URL. Okay? Amazing. We are passing cur. Cur is a simple command. Well, dear, I don't know cur. Again, all the time, guys, all the time. Man is your friend. Feel free to use it. Cur, transfer a URL. You can see all the options. You can see some examples, variables, what you can do. This is pretty powerful tool. But you can see that I'm using two flags here. So let's take a look on them. -s, and you can also see that is a silent, but let me find the -s. Okay, we got that -s. So -s are silent or quiet mode. These will not show the progress matter, progress bar, nothing, no information, just silent. Okay. For a script, once I'm looking for some output and I'm trying to collect some information, I like to skip that output. And there is also -k. So when I'm looking for by -k, that means insecure, which means I'm accessing HTTPS. So once I don't have the certificate for this website, my core probe is gonna fail, and then I have to pass something just to skip that authentication or verification. Let me do this. Let me remove the -s and let me redirect this file. Everything, I believe you remember, or we can do better here. We can just remove that one. There you go. This is the header. So when I don't have the silent, I'm just getting all the options, all the information about this download process, the average, the total receive, how many, the download speed, this kind of stuff. Eventually, if you need this for your script, this will be awesome. However, if you do not need this one, definitely you can pass -s and this will be silent. There is no such information. Okay? There you go. Let's return. And then now we have the number of pages. We have the project name. So remember, in the web UI, I was passing the page 2, page 3, page 4. And then if we do the same here, let's clean up the screen. I have the whole information. And I'm looking for by the repositories. And see, I have the page. I can pass through all the pages. This will be my sequence from page 1 to that num page, which means 6. We have the 6 from here. And then check this out. If I'm calling this passing through the organization name, let's call the format. This is the organization name. We are calling repositories. Eventually you see something like this. We don't have this in URL, this \. Again, this is just to skip the information on the shell, on the bash that you're running. This will allow you to move it on, okay? Page number, this is a variable. You can see that I have page number or page num. This will be the sequence from 1 to 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 6. So sack is another command that you can use from shell. Although I have no idea about sack, man sack. This is gonna give you all the options, all the information that you need. And then what we are doing here is something like this. We have this query. We are redirecting this to the Python 3-m JSON2. We have this one here as well. So let's get page 1. Then we have all that information from the first page. And look at that. In the code itself, this is working like a helper. I put this because I was going to show this code to someone else just to explain this workflow. And the person told me, hey, Waldir, why do not create one video? Because this is very explanatory and very helpful. So definitely this is going to help everyone around the globe. Okay, so let's take a look. This is the command. One attention point here, guys. If you just copy everything, keep in mind that there is this last parenthesis, which is related to this one. So if you just copy that parenthesis, this is gonna fail. You need to remove that one, okay? The command here is the grep. This is the final piece. So let's take a look. We are doing a cur, silent, we are skipping the certificate, we are passing to GitHub, the foreman, the repository in the first page. We are passing through this to, or passing against the Python 3 module, JSON.to, and we are grabbing dash in uppercase, and then there is something different here, something pretty cool. Let's take a look. Now we have the repository's names. So look at that. The first one is foreman documentation, second one is foreman packaging, foreman installer. If we return to this page and page 1, foreman documentation, foreman packaging, foreman documentation, foreman packaging. This is from page 1. If I change this to page 2, and basically this is what the script is doing, passing through all the pages. See, the second one is foreman puppet, Jenkins job. If we go to the next page, foreman puppet, Jenkins job, and basically this is the main point. This is the idea. We are just passing through and we are getting the repos names, okay? And here I have this stage variable. So I believe you remember, stage is over here. Stage is receiving nothing, okay? Then I have stage is receiving $stage. If I have this variable with some content, I'm appending that information, that variable. And also I'm adding the repo name. And who is the repo name? This output. And what is this output? Exactly this one over here. So I run this against the first page. If my variable stage is empty, then you receive empty plus this one. Now I have this one. If I run the second time, stage will receive the content of my previous information, and now the new set, second page and third page and fourth page, fifth page, and then 60th page, and then that's it. This is gonna end it up. So I'm doing some parts here. If you run this, you see that this structure was creating some problems, and for the problems we have to find out some solutions. Then I'm echo in that stage variable, and we can see something like this. Or stage is receiving this one. So echo $stage. This is the content of that variable. But I have multiple entries from page 1 to page 2, from page 1 up to page 6. Okay. Then I'm doing a TR. Well, there you go. This is brand new. What is TR? Man, TR. Translate characters. You can do awesome things with TR as well. I'm translating comma to \n, which means new line. So eventually I'm translating some lines with comma, with a new line. You can see this one here. Eventually I have, when combining multiple pages, some lines were getting like multiple entries in the same line. This was causing problem. Because of that, I was moving all the comma to new lines. Okay. You are mastering this one now. So cut -d, the delimiter is the double quotes, this one, and then we are getting the for field. First one is this one before, this is the second, this is the third, this is the fourth. So we're getting the repo names. And then I'm using grep -v. So -v is new because, or no, not new. We saw this in the comments. Remember? This will reverse the query. So I'm gonna print all the information except the ones starting by caret and $sign. And what is that? Let me show one thing pretty cool to you. TMP ABC. There is nothing on this file, okay? TMP ABC. I cannot see anything. There is one flag on cat, or multiple flags, called VET. Well, I have no idea, but now you know. You can use man. I'll keep this one and let me know in the comments what VET means, okay? That content is empty. So let's open this file one more time. I'll add one space here. And now look at that. This is amazing because now you know that there is one space and the end of line. That \n is that one. However, if you do a cat, there is nothing. And these are very useful because sometimes we have problems, customer problems and personal problems. Like your script is not working as expected. The parse is not working, and then you spend hours, days eventually. And man, this should be working, this should be fine. I don't know what's going on. Your application is expecting one structure, and eventually we can see like space or tabs or things like that, okay? Let me show another thing here. Tra-la-la. If I just do a cat, I can see tra-la-la and I can see some spaces. And this is good. But check this out. This is not a space. This is a tabulation. So, Odero, can I use TR to remove all the tabulations and translate to space? Definitely you can. Can I use SAD? Definitely you can. Can I use anything else? Definitely you can. There are different ways that you can do this kind of translation. But the main point here is whenever you use cat, this can be masking something. Like, I'm not sure if this is a space or tab just by the cat output. I'm not sure if there is a space here or not because I'm not seeing. But -VET is gonna help you with that, okay? In VI, you can also not see this one by default. However, if you like to see this information, definitely you can, because VI is also very powerful. So just type column set list, and now you can see there is a space over here, there is a tabulation over here, and eventually you can do some changes. You can add some additional stuff, new line, space. See, for all the new lines that we have, you can see all the characters. And again, once we type ABC, we cannot see them, but with VET, we can see all of them. Okay, this is a bonus for this video. But again, if you like to know more about this one, let me know in the comments. And I will be waiting for you guys just to tell me what VET means on cat, okay? Definitely you can use the man command. So we are removing this one. We are getting that string. We are doing some parses here. We are removing all the lines starting with the end of the line. What does this mean? This one here. If I have one empty line, I have my caret. The caret means the beginning of the line, and then this means the end of the line. So basically what I'm doing, grab -v, is starting by the end. So now here you can see that we are bringing back only this line, and the first one. And why the first one? Because we have a space. So I have the beginning of the line, I have a space, and then I have my new line. So this is not matching this rule because there is no such space over here. But all the lines starting by the end will be removed. So any empty line that I have will be removed, okay? Okay, this is regular expression. If you, again, believe regular expression is useful, let me know. And from here, I'm passing this to a while read B. So for each line that I have from this one here, I'm passing through a pipe against while read B. So for each value of these outputs, this will be the value of B, and then I can do something else with that specific iteration, okay? And what I'm doing is this. I have another function, check repo info, and I'm passing $B. If we scroll up, $B will be this one, and after this one, and after this one, and after this one. So I'm going to pass through all the repositories that I have in that specific organization, and I will do something else. And what is that? So let's take a look on check repo info. Again, repo name is equal $1. But Waldir, $1 was not -f or the repository name. All the time that you call one function passing a parameter, that parameter will be receiving the first parameter, second parameter, third parameter. So again, this is not the parameter anymore from your script, the main script. This is a parameter for that specific function. So this function, I'm calling this function passing $B. $B has the repository as the parameter in that specific time frame. So in that moment, the repo name is going to receive $1. So once I call the second repository, the repo name will be a different one, and so forth, so on, okay? So we have here an echo statement. This is just going to print out, hey, the repo name is this one, repo name. And look at that, this is the beauty now. We have the git clone. So if you're not familiar with Git is the way that we can control the versioning of our coding and this kind of stuff. We can do a lot of stuff with Git. But again, this video is for Bash script. I'm not gonna spend any time here on Git. But let me show some tricks here. Check this out. Again, I'm just using the command I used when I was doing the tests. And then, okay, now let me translate this to or adapt this to my script. So if we take a look on this one, I have a second tab here that I'm going to use to this. I remove this path. This is just the path I would like to download. I'm going to clone this to this specific folder. So git clone, I'm cloning this specific repository to this place. So this is going to create a folder called Foreman. And then now I have the Foreman, the source code of Foreman, okay? Basically, this is what this guy is doing. And again, you can see that I'm mixing now a lot of variables. I have this org URL, I have the repo name, I have the dir, I have the repo name once again, because I don't want anything static at this moment. Everything is variable. I'm just working a lot with variables, okay? You can see here the dir and then repo name. Which one is dir? If we scroll up, we can see dir is tmp top contrib report, and under that specific directory, I have the repo name. So I'm going to create one specific folder underneath that directory, okay? Then the next, I'm going to access that directory. So same as we did here. I'm inside this Foreman folder. I'm looking for now to collect some information and also to redirect this to a file. So let's copy the whole line here. Except the redirect. I don't want to redirect anything now. Let me remove some information here. Head-n5. Oh dear, what is head? Come on guys, you know the answer. Head. Display first lines of a file. And then, can I pass some parameters? Definitely you can. -n count. or line counts. You can set the number of lines that you like to show. So what I'm doing here is, let's just get the first 5 lines of this file. Because if I do not do that, let me see how many lines we do have. 629, okay? So look at that. I have, let's get this one. You can see that some value here are empty because I have repo name and org name. Those are variables. And once I don't have those variables, I can change this manually, or I can use something like this. Now I have organization in the first field. I have my repository in the second one. I have the number of pull requests in the third one. And I have the name of the person in the fourth one. So I have some details here that I would like to share. Okay, so let's move it on. Well, there, this one first. Or let's start by here. I'm changing the first character or the beginning of the line, okay? And I'm adding the foreman, as you can see here. I'm changing this and space to the foreman, comma. And why is that? Because I know that this repository is on this organization, but this was a simple way to set the organization name for this repository because we don't have the repository information in that specific repository. Maybe we do in different source or different way, but this was the simple way that I got in the script, in the overall. If you have any other idea, feel free to share, and then I'll be more than glad to discuss and talk about that one. So this is the way that we are adding the information, the first field of this CSV file, okay? So let's get rid of that. The next one, if you take a look now in my output, we have 1, 2, and 3. There is no more 4 fields, okay, because that was the first field. So similar idea here. We have the organization, and this is a variable as well, so this will be changing. Basically, we are using sed here to do a change. So getting a space in the beginning of the line for foreman, comma, because the comma is my delimiter, and that's it. So let's get rid of this as well. Let's clean up the screen one more time. Okay, those now are the information from the repository itself. Okay, let me do a bit different here. Let me remove all of this. We have git log or git log. Git log is the way that we have to interact with the Git and know some additional information about that specific repository. If we scroll straight to the bottom, you can see when this repository was created, 2009. And then the person who did this, Ohad Levi, in that specific date, July 13, 4:55, 23 seconds from that specific date. Okay? And this was the comment, empty Rails project. That's it. We have the whole history of each repository via Git. With that said, I can show some additional information here. Git log, pipe grep. I'm gonna do this the opposite way now. Author, -n5. So look at that. Now I have different authors and just the author. If the person was able to push a pull request and if that pull request was merged, there you go. The name of the person will be here. Okay. So I can do a sort. Well, there. What is sort? Come on guys, sort. This is gonna sort or merge records. You can sort, you can merge, you can count, you can do a lot of stuff. So if Waldirio pushed like 3, 4, 5 pull requests in different time frames, these will be in different places. When we do sort, now Waldirio will be all together, okay? And then after that, I have my unique-c. This is commented. So if we take a look here, I have this person with 1 entry. I have this person with 6 entries. This person with 1 entry. Okay? This is unique. Waldirio, I don't know unique, but man. So report or filter out repeated lines in a file. And there are a bunch of flags. The one that we are using is -c, which will count the number of entries that you have. If we keep going, look at that. I have now sort -nr. We know sort here. We know that there are some flags. For this one, please let me know in the comments which means -n and also -r, okay? So if you take a look now, I'm ordering this information and then I have the top 1, top 2, top 3, top 4, and top 5, okay? So if we get the whole command now, we were here, and then I'm doing a set. So I'm doing a substitution. I'm getting anything. Let me get that one more time. I'm getting space, author, column, space, this one here. And I'm changing to comma. So let's see how this is gonna be. Let me remove this one. See, before was the number, space, author, column, space, Ohad, and now I have the number, comma, and the name of the person, the email. Okay, this is amazing. We are almost there. And then there are some additional things here. We have this set, which is gonna change or replace the comma to comma with double quotes. Let me add some space here just to not lose the one that we have on top. Okay, I'm changing this one. So if you see, now I have these double quotes over here. And if we add one more, yep, this one, you can see that I'm using the same set with a substitution. And now I'm changing the end of line with the double quotes as well. So now you can see the number, comma, and then this one. And Waldirio, why is that? Why are we adding double quotes on this last field? One thing that I learned here when parsing the CSV file, CSV has a comma as a delimiter. So if you go to your Microsoft Excel, LibreOffice, Google Spreadsheet, whatever, any application, and you import the CSV, the comma will be used as a delimiter, okay? This is the standard. But let's suppose that I have here this name, Ohad Levi. But instead of Ohad Levi, was Levi, comma, Ohad. Something like this. And I got a few users like this. Like I have my last name, comma, first name. this was breaking the application, this was breaking the process. So how can we keep the comma in a CSV file? And this is the standard. This is not something that I created. This is the standard of CSV files. If you like to import some information with comma in the middle of your text, you need to put this between double quotes. So what will happen is the importer or the application that you're using to import will identify this one. And this can be, again, Microsoft Excel, LibreOffice, Python module. So if you have a CSV, if you have a comma in the text, but they are between the double quotes, they will be discarded. Like they is part of that text, will not be used as a delimiter. Okay. So in order to avoid that issue, I just put the double quotes at the beginning and at the end of this field, and that's it. This was enough to fix any problem regarding to this one. Moving on, we have the Git information, and now I would like to see some format information about the pull request. So let me show you this. We have the Git log that I mentioned before. It is something like this. We can use things like this. Let me filter this. So basically we have git log, same command. We have this -- query, and then we have a format. You can see the percentage signal, and then H in lowercase, H in uppercase, F, AS, AN. So all this information will be on the git log manual page. And this is the way that I got to create some information that I was looking for. Like this is the hash, the first one. Not the whole hash, but just the initial characters. This is bringing the full hash, we can see here. Then we have this AS, which is bringing the title of this pull request. And then we have more. Like, let me know in the comments if you have some questions about them, because this is pretty cool. Other, how can I get this if this is not a manual page? So git log -- help. Anytime in Linux, basically in Linux, you can type -- help, and this is gonna bring you all the information from that specific command, okay? And then pre, you can see the pre here, and you can looking for all the formats, all the information, all the options available in this page, okay? We got this information. If you scroll straight to the right, you can see that we are redirecting this to a CSV output. So I'm appending this information on CSV output over here. And this is for PR info. So I have one CSV and I have another CSV as well. At the end of this process, I'm doing a CD. And why would I do just a CD? Because before I did a CD to this folder. I'm inside that specific repository. Now I have to get out of that repository because my next call is gonna be cleanup dir. And you know already what cleanup dir is doing. So if we came to cleanup dir, this is gonna test. Hey, is that a folder? Yes. So let me remove everything inside. Let me remove all the hidden files. And then we'll come back to this one. So once this is done, the guy responsible for this call was this one. Then this is gonna pass through the next repository, and the process will be the same for the next repository. From the first page, second page, third page, fourth page, fifth page, and then 60th page. Once we pass through all the repositories and there is no more repositories to pass through, this is gonna end. This while is gonna end, and then now we have this information. Hey, please check the CSV output file and please check the CSV PR info file. And then there is nothing else to do. This is gonna end, and that's it. This is the script. I know this was a little bit maybe massive, but let's see this working. Top contrib orgs. If I just run, there is no way to run, to move it on, because I'm expecting something here. I can remember $0 will print the name of the file. If you change the name of the file here, this is gonna change as well. So I'm gonna pass through this and let's take a look. The organization was found, we have the ID, we have the number of pages, and then check this out. In that specific folder, we have this form and documentation, and the form and documentation is the repository in question. So let me open this one here. Look at that. At this moment, we have just the header, nothing else. Okay. Let me open another one here. tail-f tmp pr. And again, I have another file here just for pull requests. So basically I'm creating two different data sources. One that will bring back the information about the organizations and repositories, this kind of stuff. And another one that will bring back the information about the pull requests. So look at that. Now I have the information from the first one, and then we clean it up. Look at that. We were able to move it on, and then stage director around, cleaning up stuff. This was the cleaning up call. And now we are going to the next one, foreman. And then we just clone the repository, we pass, and then cleaning up again. Let's go to the next one, foreman packaging, form installer, and that's it. And this will be here doing the same steps for all the repositories in the same way. There is no human interaction, no issue, no way to be failing, because this is what we expect. See, the organization name and the project name is changing because they are variables. And from here we have the pull request information. Let's just wait for this to finish and we'll see the output, the final output. While this script is running, let me show one more thing to you guys. Again, this is the script. Feel free to access the GitHub. If you like to follow, feel free to follow. If you like to fork this script for do your tests, you can. Just click on fork and this repository will appear in your own area. So you'll be able to clone to your machine to do some changes and create some pull requests to your own account. And if you like to improve this one as well, just submit a pull request for my repository, the main repository, and I'll be more than glad to review and accept this and work with you as well. Okay? This is how open source works all the time, every day, 24/7. All right, look at that. Now we pass through all the repos, and then please check the file tmp full report, and please check the file pr full reports. And there is no more activity here because this is done. Now let me show you the number of lines. There you go. For contributors on this specific organization, we have 5,736 people. And for the pull requests, we have 80,400 pull requests on combining all the different repositories that we have. This is pretty impressive. And then we have like the time frame, we have the dates, we have a lot of information over here. So yeah, that's it. Bash script is very powerful. As you saw, we were able to collect a lot of information, do a lot of parses, and get the information that at least I was looking for. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Again, feel free to let me know in the comments if you have interest in see like regular expression, a little bit more of awk and cut and grep or whatever. Feel free to share your feedback. I'll be more than glad to check them, and this definitely will help me to create some new videos. Okay, if you're not subscribed yet, feel free to subscribe. This will help me and this will push me to create more content to you guys. I'm trying to keep here something like a legacy, and I hope this helped you somehow. Okay? Have an amazing day and see you in the next video. Bye.